A Vatican unveiled. There is a silence inside the Vatican walls that feels centuries deep, a silence not of peace, but of weight. It is a silence that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of faith, and the quiet machinations of power. In recent years, Pope Francis has broken this silence in unexpected ways, not with declarations of doctrine, but with dire warnings. He speaks not only of moral decay or climate change, but of something more imminent, a third world war fought in pieces, a collapse of humanity, a spiritual crisis the world is not ready to face. At first glance, these might sound like the musings of a religious leader concerned with the soul of the world. But to those who understand the coded history of the Vatican, its centuries of cloaked diplomacy, shadow influence, and guarded secrets, these words ring with something else: warning. Or perhaps, disclosure. So, what is the Vatican preparing for? To answer that, we must look beyond the public sermons, beyond the humanitarian missions, beyond the symbolism. We must look at what the Vatican has been doing quietly, aligning with global institutions, digitizing faith infrastructure, and hinting at a future in which spiritual authority may become something vastly different. This is the Forbidden Dossier on the Vatican, the global conflict it anticipates, and the prophecy it may already be fulfilling. The roots of Vatican influence. Let's go back to the roots of Vatican influence. The Vatican's role in shaping the moral framework of civilizations is neither coincidental nor passive. Across centuries, its doctrine has not only influenced the beliefs of millions but served as a hidden hand behind pivotal moments in global history. From the Treaty of Westphalia to the fall of the Berlin Wall, the Vatican has often been a silent architect of peace and conflict alike. But something has shifted. In recent years, there has been a noticeable acceleration in Vatican activity, not just spiritually, but geopolitically. Private meetings with heads of state have intensified. Statements from the Holy See have taken on an urgent, almost prophetic tone. And while most of the world scrolls through news feeds, the Vatican seems to be preparing for something monumental. One clue lies in the increasing frequency of Pope Francis' use of terms like irreversible crisis, end of an era, and systemic collapse. These aren't theological metaphors, they sound like operational briefings. His 2024 address to the diplomatic corps included phrases such as an inflection point for humanity and a crossroads for global civilization. Some analysts noted that these words mirrored the language used in military intelligence reports. Coincidence? Or calibration? The digital frontier. Then there's the Vatican's sudden investment in technological ethics. In the past 3 years alone, the Holy See has convened dozens of high-level meetings with AI developers, data scientists, and biotech experts. Why? Because the Vatican is no longer just concerned with sin and salvation, but with the architecture of the future human condition. According to insiders, a confidential report circulated within the Roman Curia warns of a coming fusion between digital identity systems and moral behavior scoring. That's not science fiction. It's a reality already tested in China and being considered in European regulatory circles. What role does the Vatican intend to play in such a world? Publicly, it claims to advocate for human dignity and ethical frameworks. But critics fear a more strategic goal, becoming the moral arm of a digital global order. Imagine a world where your access to financial tools, education, or travel is gated not only by behavior, but by alignment with a new ethical standard. A standard influenced, if not dictated, by Rome. Some call this a new digital theology. The layers of prophecy. And here's where the layers deepen. Within the vast Vatican library, beyond even the secret archives, are millennia of texts on prophecy, cosmology, and spiritual warfare. Scholars have long suspected that some of these manuscripts include blueprints for global alignment. Not military strategy, but eschatological protocols. Procedures for preparing humanity for an age of judgment, or revelation. Take the Book of Revelation itself. The Vatican's interpretation has evolved in recent decades. Many modern theologians within the Church now speak of symbolic fulfillment rather than literal apocalypse. But some insiders whisper that recent global events, pandemics, wars, economic resets, mirror Revelation's warnings too closely to be symbolic. They fear we are already in the unfolding. The question of extraterrestrial life. Meanwhile, in private circles, there are discussions about extraterrestrial life, not whether it exists, but how its eventual acknowledgement would impact theological doctrine. The Vatican Observatory continues to publish findings, and rumors persist of a theological commission tasked with non-human intelligence integration. It may sound far-fetched, until you remember that in 2008, the Vatican's own chief astronomer said that belief in aliens does not contradict Catholic faith. Since then, silence. But silence, in Vatican terms, often signals preparation. Financial movements and future technologies. Add to this the unexplained movements in the financial arm of the Holy See. The Vatican Bank, traditionally opaque, has recently liquidated long-held assets and redirected funds into renewable technologies, biotech, and quantum computing initiatives. Why would a spiritual institution diversify into post-digital infrastructure? Unless it foresees a reordering of civilization where such technologies are no longer optional, but foundational. And at the center of all this, the Pope. No longer merely a religious figure, the Pope increasingly resembles a transnational statesman. His speeches echo across nations. His encyclicals are read in parliaments. His calls for unity often come cloaked in spiritual language, but carry geopolitical weight. The third secret of Fatima. And then there's the silence on the third secret of Fatima. The official release in 2000 was supposed to end the speculation. But even high-ranking clergy have expressed doubts. Former insiders have hinted that the actual content was too destabilizing, too prophetic, to be disclosed. One cardinal, under anonymity, described it as a warning so profound, it could fracture faith itself. A warning, perhaps, of global deception. Of a false peace. Of a spiritual reset masked as unity. Is it possible that the Vatican has always known, that a convergence was coming? That political, technological, and spiritual forces would one day merge? That this merging would not just mark a new era, but the end of the old world? And more importantly, is it trying to stop it, or guide it? The New World Order of Belief. Because what stands at the end of this path may not be dystopia in the traditional sense. No boots marching in the streets. No flags burning in revolution. Instead, a world ordered through consensus. Through algorithms. Through belief, not in faith, but in systems. Systems of harmony. Systems of compliance. Systems where good and evil are determined not by scripture, but by terms of service. The Pope's recent appeal to save humanity through collective responsibility rings noble. But critics ask, who defines responsibility? Who decides what must be sacrificed for peace? If the Vatican becomes the moral compass of a system it no longer controls, will it still be spiritual leadership, or simply spiritual compliance? The questions we must ask. These are the questions that must be asked. And this is your Forbidden Dossier. Because what comes next may not be prophecy fulfilled, but prophecy executed. As we stand on the precipice of this new era, we must consider the implications of a Vatican that is not merely a spiritual authority but a pivotal player in the global order. The convergence of faith, technology, and governance is not just a possibility, it is a reality that is unfolding before our eyes. The Vatican, with its rich history and profound influence, may very well be at the helm of this transformation. In the coming years, as the world grapples with the challenges of climate change, social unrest, and technological upheaval, the Vatican's role will be scrutinized more than ever. Will it be a beacon of hope, guiding humanity towards a more ethical future? Or will it become a tool of compliance, enforcing a new order that prioritizes control over compassion? The answers lie not just in the actions of the Vatican, but in the hearts and minds of people around the world. As we navigate this complex landscape, we must remain vigilant, questioning the narratives presented to us and seeking the truth behind the silence. In this age of uncertainty, the Forbidden Dossier serves as a reminder that the future is not predetermined. It is shaped by our choices, our beliefs, and our willingness to engage with the profound questions that lie ahead. The Vatican may hold the keys to a new world, but it is up to us to decide what that world will look like.